Welcome. Welcome to the Journey of Unbecoming. I am going to just thank you for joining us on this transformational journey. Please share in the chat as you are where you are joining us from. And so we're all over the world here. And so I want to start here. Before diving in, let's set our intentions and create a sacred space. I have a candle which I'm going to light here beside me because I want this to be a sacred container for us to embark on. This is a transformational point in our lives which we're about to embark on. And I'm excited and grateful that you're here with me. And so we're here to peel back the layers, recalibrate internally and externally, and to live our fullest, most authentic lives. Throughout this retreat, we will feel the powerful energy of our global community. I want you to know that you're not alone. You're surrounded by like-minded souls, all embarking on their paths to empowerment and authenticity. If safe, if you're not driving, I want you just to close your eyes for a moment. You're here, you're present, you're with us now. So close your eyes and just connect with your breath. Feel your heart rise and fall. Feel your chest fill with air. And as it does, I want you to visualize a white light inside. I want to feel that light growing. I want to feel that that's your nourishment. That's your life source going inside of you. And then as you exhale, you let go of all of the baggage, all of the things that you think you should be doing, all of the expectations, and just connect with your breath and just allow yourself to be here. Allow yourself this gift of this event so that you can fully immerse yourself in this experience. I'm going to go deeper into the journey of unbecoming, but this is a moment in time where you're going to look back and you'll be grateful that you had the opportunity to be here now. And this has the potential and the power to change the trajectory of your life. So this retreat here is a culmination of months of preparation and years of personal experience. Just ask if you could. Just while people are joining us here, I'm just trying to navigate that. This retreat is the culmination of months of preparation and years of experience, featuring amazing speakers sharing their wisdom. There's tools which they're generously gifting to you, inspiration to empower and encourage you on your journey to authenticity and self-discovery. This retreat is designed to help you unbecome who you thought you should be. And I emphasize should. It's a word which gets thrown around a lot, and it's this, I picture it like just being should on. And I think it's so unnecessary for us to do it to ourselves and to others and allow others to do it to us. So I reference should many times because I think it's an interesting thing to try to navigate. And so I want you to allow yourself to reconnect with your inner light and rediscover your true self. We're creating a high vibrational, safe space for vulnerability and authenticity. And so just as we reconnect with our breath, just as before we go into the presentation, just reach out. Just join me here and we'll reach out to the sides. And then you bring your arms in and just wrap your arms around your chest. Just give yourself a nice big hug and just give yourself gratitude for allowing yourself the time to be here right now. Thank you. So I'm going to share my presentation. I apologize. I'm going to continue here on our journey. So let's begin with the obvious question. What does unbecoming mean? We'll delve deeper into the concept of unbecoming as we go on this journey, but it refers to the transformative journey we undertake when we realize we are where we are meant to be, soulfully speaking. It often begins with a life-altering event, be it a health crisis, relationship breakup, job loss, some accident or a family tragedy, pushing us out of our comfort zones. These events serve as undeniable callings or signs leading to profound reflection and reevaluation of our life path, forcing us to make a choice to be propelled forward by pain or drawn forward by a higher purpose. The journey of self-discovery. So this journey peels away the layers of societal shoulds, false identities, obligations, and expectations that suffocate our souls, liberating the limitless potential within each and every one of us. It creates space both energetically and physically, allowing our authentic selves to emerge, grow, and flourish. I believe we all have a purpose, a unique gift to share. And by heeding our callings and leaving our comfort zones, that's how we embrace our true selves. So why is it important? Living inauthentically has a significant emotional, physiological, and physical cost. It results in wasteful disconnection from ourselves, others, and the world at large. And this perpetuates into coping mechanisms through consumerism, addictions, distractions, as we just stay comfortably uncomfortable in the comfort zone. And this leads to the life of mediocrity and ultimately ends up with us violating the planet. And I think the biggest waste of all is waste of human potential. And so why now? And for me, I used to imagine what the world would have been, what things we have in our world right now, which they couldn't comprehend 50 years ago. And like an obvious one would be a smartphone. And so like that's something we couldn't live without now for the best part. But 50 years ago, that wasn't even a possibility. And where I'm thinking here is I was having this conversation with my son and I was like imagining it's like I'm sort of repeating the same thing to him. And then I had to pause and I was like, I'm not even sure that the world is going to be habitable in 50 years. The rate that everything is going and the way things are unfolding and just craziness in the world. And this had me at a point where I was like, I have to do something. I can't stand back and passively watch things unfold. I need to share my gift. I need to shine my light and I need to enable others to do the same. And I was also thinking it was like people talk of us being in the Matrix. And I think we're actually moving more towards Terminator right now. And that for me is really scary. And so the other one is knowing that the number one regret of the dying is I wish I'd had the courage to live a life that was true to myself and not what others expected of me. That's a really powerful message. Knowing that people, when they get to the end of their lives, that is normally what they encounter or feel or experience. And so there's this point between where we are now and when we take our last breath is finite. And so I want to just bring that to your awareness to be, Like, this is something we have to take really seriously. And if you're here because you're called to something, there is something which you're here to do, and I want to empower you on that journey. And that's my intention, creating this event and offering it in a format such as this for the live interaction, for engagement. And so the time is now. Now is the moment to reclaim control, reconnect with what is truly important, and live a life with purpose. With every passing moment, the cost of inaction rises. And so my question to you is, if not now, when? And so here we begin. I want you to be able to get the most out of your retreat experience here. And so in order to do this, I'm going to go navigate over to the event schedule page. Just getting a little bit of a pause on my computer while I catch up. So we're, this is loading. I'm not sure why. Here we go. I want to just bring a couple of things here to your attention on the event schedule page. This is the hub of the activity for the next 5 days. And can you ever see my screen okay? You could nod, that would be helpful. I can only see a couple of faces. So anyway, we have our event schedule here. It outlines how the event is going. For those people who aren't able to attend the event, there is the option to upgrade to lifetime access. And so here, I want to bring attention to this. The Journey of Unbecoming is designed as an online retreat where you can embark on your journey with live content to facilitate a more profound transformation through the in-person interaction. So during the next 5 days, there's going to be live morning meditations each morning at this time. Then there's going to be live interviews, which will start an hour later. There'll be live trainings, and then a live Q&A to close each day. And so I invite you to join us each day. Try and get the most out of this. I think it's a gift to have these people, these speakers available at our resource, to have the speakers available to ask questions and to glean information and learn from them. They're here as beacons of light to guide and inspire you. And so then as we scroll down, it goes into the retreat schedule. And so we're on day 1, awakening to the call. Just as this works, we'll put at the top of the page who the speakers are and what the talks are for that day, the live components, how to access, and then each person has their speaker page. So I'm going to stop that one and go back to my screen. And so I'm just wondering if anybody... So I'm going to just continue on with what I wish to share today. We're here for this journey of unbecoming. And so please use the event schedule page. And one of the things I want to say is, if something doesn't work or you're not getting where you want to be, just reach out. I have my email address here in the center of the page. So if you have any questions, it's on the emails which are going out. And so if a link doesn't work, or if you don't have access to something or something, please bring it to my attention, because we're doing everything we can to make sure this is a seamless experience for everybody here. And then something which I want this retreat to provide to people is it's a space to inspire each other. It's a space to learn. It's a space to connect. And so I invite you just to connect with people, find ways to reach out and continue on this journey. went too far. Okay, so I want to share a little bit about myself. And you're obviously looking around and you're checking out the different pictures of the different parts which make up me. So just for those who aren't familiar with me, I'm just going to read my bio here. I'm an intentional life mentor, a transformational facilitator.
That's what I'll do.
Sorry about that. I guide purpose-driven professionals on a journey to uncover what they truly desire from life and explore ways to infuse their desired life into their current reality. Along the journey, they identify their own true north and realign with their inner compass. This clarity unlocks who they truly are and enables them to live life on purpose. I facilitate transformational travel experiences to rapidly accelerate the client's transformation. Since leaving Wales almost 20 years ago now, I met my wife doing baseline data studies in Mexico, which is the picture in the middle. We were monitoring the coral reef. Together, we've owned real estate, created a healing and wellness center, created businesses in 4 countries, traveled to over 34 countries, spent time in an ashram in India, studied yoga in Thailand, and we built our own expedition vehicle. We've driven as far as Panama from Canada on a journey to Patagonia. One of my favorite things to do is to guide people on transformative travel experiences. Get out into nature, away from distractions and the daily routine, and reconnect to nature, to reconnect themselves and truly feel alive. And so I'm actually going to be leading, I'm sharing this. I don't have any promotional material out yet, but I'm actually going to be guiding people on a physical journey of unbecoming, where we're going to walk across Costa Rica. We're going to walk from the Caribbean to the Pacific over 2 weeks. It's going to be a truly, truly magnificent experience. And so by all means, email me if that's of curiosity to you. But I'm just, what I'm offering here is I'm looking at ways to reconnect with each of you to help you see the light inside of you. So on my speaker page, I have 2 free gifts. One is you can apply for one of 7 Reignite Your Life discovery calls. And the other is I'm going to be offering a free masterclass, which is The Essential Unbecoming, Rediscovering Your Innate Wisdom and Purpose. And this will be live on Tuesday, October 17th. So there's a link in my speaker page for that. And so I just want to share a little bit of the stories around the pictures here. So you can see in the top, there's our expedition truck, and in the background, there's a river. And as is the journey, there's always obstacles. And so we're driving along and we're going and we know this is a 4x4 road in the back of Costa Rica. And it needs 4x4 to do the river crossings. And so it's like, sitting there on the other bank, looking at the river, and it's like, okay, let's do this. And so I just go straight into the river, and I've not done 20 feet into the river, and the truck comes to a stop. And I'm like, crap. I'm miles from anywhere. There's nobody who could tow the vehicle out, anything like that. And so what happened was I just composed myself, and I'm like, okay, let's back up a little bit, and then let's just go for it. Long story short, we've got through the river, we navigated, and you can see the grin on my face for actually navigating that crossing. And so many you people will be facing this type of experience right now. There's something in front of you which has caused you to come to a stop, but you've got the power within you with the right guidance, support, and sort of nurturing to be able to navigate that. On the right, I'm ziplining. My son and I went ziplining in Nicaragua. On the lower right, I'm there holding my son. We've just harvested bananas on our property. And if you notice, there's a yellow one. I love how bananas don't all ripen at the same time. They just ripen a few at a time. The one in the middle is finally a coffee cup, which I don't think I can consume quite that much coffee, but I'm willing to give it a try. And then a couple is just things which are fun for me. I love that hat. It's quite obvious that I'm bald, but it gets a huge kick at like when I enter a bank and we have to take my hair off. And then the monkey tail mustache is just, it's like, why not have fun in life? Why not do things which challenge the norm? And so I want to go on next. I want to be like, okay, so why are we on this journey? And so For me, this is growth, this is life. And for me, the representation in the natural world is so important. I have a knack for recognizing the unseen potential in my clients, even when they can't perceive it in themselves. Think of this process like nurturing a seed. It needs the right surroundings, care, and support until it's robust enough to thrive independently. And so that's how we are. We need to be in a supportive community. We need to have people around us who can help us, nurture us, and bring the best out within us. One of my passions is collecting and nurturing seeds, engaging in reforestation with my family. This practice not only secures basic necessities like food and shelter, but also preserves high-value commodities for the future. It might seem like a small act, but it has a profound impact on the coming generations. Living a purposeful life is simpler than it often seems, and it's certainly less burdensome than living under the weight of others' expectations and obligations. What most of us are really seeking is not a complex life, but a deeper connection with ourselves, our communities, and the world. And so I shared these. This is just the links. This is on my speaker page. So if you want to connect, just head over to my speaker page. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to see how we can sort of work together. And so I'm going to go stop off here for a moment. And I want to come on camera because I want to share a bit about my story and like why this is really important to me and how I was able to navigate adversity in my life. So imagine 10 years ago, 10 years ago, while sitting at my desk, my wife gave me a note. It wasn't a love note. Fear and anxiety filled my body. My chest tightened. And I felt sick as I read the words. It shared how she can't go on like this. This was serious. How had we got to this place? We were successful. Our boutique hotel and wellness center would pass $500,000 in revenue, having grown year on year since we bought the property. Guests loved the experience, and this showed in the recognition and the awards. So everything appeared amazing from the outside. However, behind the scenes, there was a very different story playing out. Things were falling apart. My marriage was failing. My connection with my 2-year-old son was practically non-existent. My health was being ignored. I was numbing myself with food, alcohol, distracting myself with social media, seeking validation from the outside. I was going through the motions, doing everything I should be doing, but I was emotionally empty. So where did it all go wrong? How did I get so far off my intended course, drifting further and further away from life that I had envisioned? My wife and I weren't new to self-discovery. We had a gratitude practice, goals, meditation. We both had yoga teachers. We were both yoga teachers. We had the tools, but we weren't using them consistently. I'm curious, can you relate to this? There is something that you know or something that you have that would benefit you in your life, but for some reason, you're just not using it. But what I want to say here is I want to, like 5 years prior to this, we were on cloud nine. We'd manifested this amazing opportunity in a stunning location in Washington State. After the initial buyer had backed out for no apparent reason, we bought it for $1.35 million with none of our own money. We weren't even legally allowed to work in the US. We were still waiting on our visas. But as real estate investors, we could see the potential that this property held. And for us, this was our ticket to financial freedom. That was our focus. That was our goal at that point. And we both turned 30 that year and relished the opportunity. But the plot thickens. This was 2008. And we had bought just ahead of the market crash, while prices were still high, and within weeks, the value was falling. Oh, crap. So over the years, we poured everything we had into this business to navigate the recession, to navigate the economic downturn. We worked incredibly long hours for no pay. We were resourceful, but there was never a moment in our minds that we didn't believe that we could do it. It's not to say it wasn't stressful. The business ran at a loss for 2 years, with tens of thousands of dollars going out each month during the winter. And it rebounded, thankfully, in the summer. And what was happening here was my identity was getting so entangled into all aspects of the property that when my son was born, I was even wearing a shirt which sported the logo of the company, of the business we had. And then during the months and years after that, the demands on my time, on one side, I had the business. On the other side, I had my wife and my son. And I did what I had been conditioned to do. I pursued success on the sort of the cultural level, the societal level. What I was going after was I wanted the guest to have an amazing experience, leave an excellent review. The referrals would attract more guests, and that would generate more income. Like somehow money would just be the answer to the problems. The business continued to grow and did great. But what was growing faster was the disconnection with my family and the emptiness inside of me. Precious moments as time that I will never get back past. And so as we look at our lives, these day by day, it's nearly impossible to see these things happening. We need to take time to reflect back and just check in with ourselves and see how we're doing. And are we on course for like the life that we want to lead? And it's my understanding that too many people aren't. And what ends up happening is if you don't do something about this, something breaks in a catastrophic way if it's left ignored. And so I got caught up in the busyness of life, pursuing somebody else's definition of success. I was feeding the system, but what was happening, I was feeling distracted, disempowered, disconnected. And staying on that path, it leads to disease and death. And so what was an important part for me in this journey was, as a yoga, having studied yoga and understanding the psychology, we could see what was happening to our son. We could see what was happening to our son, and we could see that he was being ignored, and how so many of the problems that we experience as adults stem back to the first 7 years of life. And so we faced a very, very clear choice. We had to do something radically different, and it didn't involve the business. So we had to part company with the business and start to create life on our own terms. And so here, this is what happened. And so for me, I find it so, click on share here. So here, this is what was the outcome of our, I'll explain, I'll elaborate on the pictures. So for me, time in nature is so important. And so the picture on the left is a trail in Oregon. And so what we were out walking, we were exploring the trail, and sort of we thought, like the thought came, it's like, why don't we just go down to Mexico for a couple of months to reconnect as a family, find our purpose again? But this idea quickly morphed into us designing and building out our own. Give me 1 second, if you may. So this idea quickly morphed into us designing and building out our own expedition truck. Because we were like, why don't we, if we're going to go as far as Mexico, we could drive all the way to the southern tip of South America, to Patagonia, and make a whole family adventure out of it. And our expedition from Portland to Patagonia was born. And you ask, how does it get to that big of a trip? It's like, why not? There's this feeling inside of us when we were having this conversation. It was like, let's go to Mexico. And it felt good. It was like, why don't we go down to Guatemala? And that felt, that's cool. Let's do that. And then it went little by little. And it was just, when we came up with the idea of driving from Portland, Oregon to Patagonia, there was this light inside of us, and it was like, this is feeling alive. This is what's been missing. And so that was what prompted us to change direction. And this was happening when we were in our 30s. So this is where the society is expecting us to be a certain way, show up a certain way, and do the career and all this stuff. And it was like, no, it doesn't fit with me. It doesn't fit with my vision of life. But this was not done without backlash. And so from those around us, we did face adversity. The majority thinking we were insane, questioning whether we should have a gun or not, questioning why we would walk away from a business which is growing and thriving, and even sort of my mum suggesting I just take a job at a local store so I could have a consistent income. It just didn't make any sense. And so we cut ourselves free from the shackles of the business, and we built this expedition vehicle, which you can see in the pictures. And it was on this journey that we reconnected with ourselves, each other, and sought out experiences which helped me to uncover my gift. So you can see the pictures inside of the vehicle. You can see the pictures of the truck where we're driving through the snow in Canada, and then down at the bottom is Atitlan in Guatemala. Oh, where did that one go? Okay, so along the journey, you're going to encounter things which help you to indicate that you're not going the right way. So I just pulled these two out for a bit of fun, because there's times where universe is going to tell you you're not going the right way, or you actually have to sort of look at the path ahead and think, is it safe to me to go in this direction? Is this the right way? And don't ignore the signs. And so I just want to pause here for just a moment. And I just want to just check in with everybody, see how you're doing, and just how you're feeling. Are you excited to be on this journey? And so I've got an exercise I want to lead you through, because I find, for me, a big part of, let me stop my share here. And for me, a big part of being on this journey is actually taking the action. We can talk and we can hypothesize and we can plan, but if you don't actually take the action. So I'm going to walk you through an exercise which I find very, very impactful. So can you get a pen and paper? I'll give you a couple of minutes. Just go and grab yourself a pen, paper, pencil, something which you can sketch on. And then when you're ready, just come back on. Are you ready to go? Just give me a wave. Okay, so the way this is going to work is this is an exercise to encourage reflections on your journey, your time that you have, your choices, and promote awareness, inspiring positive change. So grab the piece of paper, and along the bottom of the page, draw a horizontal line and divide it into 10 equal sections, each representing a decade. And so then what I want you to do is I want you to draw a small part on the left above the very first mark you made on the page. I'm going to pick on Sharon Trigg. Sharon, are you doing the exercise? Because I can see you on my screen. Who's doing the exercise? Somebody. Okay. I'm just asking Sharon because Sharon's on my screen. I have Stephanie. Stephanie, will you be my guinea pig? Cool.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll walk it through with you. So what I want to do is I want you on the left-hand side, I want you to draw a heart above, like essentially where the line starts.
Okay.
And then I want you to draw another one above your, like roughly your corresponding age.
Okay.
And then I want to place, if you have a grandparent who has passed away, approximately how old were they when they passed away?
My grandmother was 63.
So place those above, because we've got our decades along the line on the bottom. So place those above roughly where they are.
Okay.
And then a parent, if a parent has passed away, place the parent on your chart.
Yeah.
And then I want to put in, I'm going to put 3 vertical lines down the page. So I want to put one line at 54, or I would like you to. One line at 80, and one line at 86. And I want to explain the meanings. The meanings of those lines are 54 is the average life expectancy in Chad in Africa. That's the youngest average life expectancy on the charts on, like, if you look it up on the internet. 80 is the average life expectancy in the US, and 86 is the highest in Hong Kong. And so I want you to look at the picture you have in front of you. And so you have the heart where you are born in the beginning. You have the heart where you are. Oh, and then one thing we haven't added in is loved ones, people who you've lost in an accident, or somebody who's died too soon, somebody who never got to old age.
Yeah.
And so what I want to do is I want you to look at that and think, okay, where am I now? And how close are the other hearts around me? I just want to pause for a second as people reflect on this. Because the next step here, is to put a heart when you die. When are you going to take your last breath?
Yeah.
But you can't. We can see the people around us have died, are dying. Yeah. Like that is the end of life for this existence, for us. And for many people here, we're closer to those hearts at the end on the right than we are to the heart where we started from. And so the reason I say this, the reason I do this, the reason I share this with you is it's not to invoke fear. This is an exercise to use as fuel, to use as urgency, to use as something to be like, I need to do something now. If I'm in pain and I'm in discomfort, I need to move away from it now. If I'm called towards something, I need to do it now. If I'm on a path I don't belong on, and there is another path where I belong, you can't wait. And so I just want to check in with people. Just put in the chat how does this feel for you? What comes up as you're like doing this exercise? So KB writes, the importance of taking steps to fill you up now. Absolutely. Fear of dying. My thoughts about the fear of dying is it's the fear of not living, I think, is more impactful It's about how, like, if we don't do anything to feel alive, then what is the point of being alive? Stephanie, you raised your hand.
That was from before.
Okay. And Jody raises an interesting question. Where are you going with this? Life doesn't have to flow in a linear format. Transformation is not linear. Absolutely not. It isn't. But we do live in a paradigm of time. We do live within the realms and the constraints of time. And so it's more of an awareness tool to be like, okay, so how it's kind of like rocket fuel. Like if you're on the wrong path, take the steps to navigate to something which makes you feel alive, because that's what's going to have a ripple of impact for yourself, the family around you, and everybody you interact with. It's how we're going to bring change in the world, is by feeling alive. And so I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to my presentation here. And so I want to have another story I want to share with you. So I want to add another layer to where we're at right now. And the best way that I found to demonstrate this is through the story of the Mexican fisherman. So once upon a time, in a small, peaceful coastal village in Mexico, lived a humble fisherman, Juan, who led a simple and contented life every day. He would sail his small boat into the tranquil ocean, catching enough fish to feed his family, selling the surplus to his neighbors. He would spend his afternoons relaxing in the village, playing the guitar, enjoying siestas, and spending quality time with his loved ones. One day, a well-dressed businessman from the bustling city visited the serene village. He noticed Juan returning from his daily fishing, appearing carefree and joyful. Intrigued by Juan's lifestyle, the businessman approached him and inquired about his daily routine. Juan cheerfully explained, "I wake up late, fish a little, play with my kids, take siestas with my wife, and stroll into the village each evening, where I sip wine and play guitar with my amigos." The businessman, with an air of sophistication, quizzically asked, "Why don't you fish more and sell the extra catch?" Juan looked puzzled, but replied, "But senor, I catch enough to satisfy our immediate needs." The businessman, eager to share his wisdom, advised, "Listen, you could fish more extensively, sell the extra fish you catch, and with the extra money, buy a bigger boat." Juan, curious, asked, "And then what, senor?" The businessman continued, "With the bigger boat, you could go deeper and catch more fish. You could earn enough to buy several boats. Eventually, you could have a fleet of fishing boats." Juan asked again, "And then what, senor?" The businessman enthusiastically replied, "You could leave this small village and move to Mexico City, or even LA or New York, where you could run your expanding enterprise." "And then what, senor?" Juan persistently inquired. The businessman proudly declared, "You could become a millionaire, a rich man, able to enjoy the finest things in life." Juan, with a smile, asked one final time, "And then what, senor?" The businessman paused and then replied, "Well, then you would be able to retire, move to a small coastal fishing village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take a siesta with your wife, and spend your evenings drinking wine and playing guitar with your amigos." Juan smiled gently, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "But senor, isn't that what I'm already doing?" And so I click stop share. Where did the screen go? So I want to just bring that back. This was a problem I was facing. I was chasing success. I was chasing the society's expectation of what success looks like. But it was taking me away from what I was here to do. I wasn't here to like just to earn money, to buy more stuff, to consume more things. It was just, that wasn't how I wanted to live my life. It's not what I'm here for. And so I share this. I don't mean to devalue. My intention is not to say, don't have goals, don't strive for something. Don't try and build this business, which can have a huge impact. What I want to say is, do it because it lights you up. Do it because it matters. Do it because it's going to benefit and enrich the lives of people, not because you think you should do it, so that at some point at a later date, when you have enough money, you can enjoy the retirement, or you can enjoy a lifestyle, which is actually much more attainable now than you can possibly imagine. And so here, there's a couple of things I want to, like, points you could reflect on from that story. And it's like, how do you define the success? And then another one, which is really important, is it's like, are your desires truly your own? Are they the reflections of what society deems valuable? What would it mean what would it mean for you to live a life that was true to your values and your desires? And so I'm asking this to you as an invitation to go inwards. It's an invitation. We're at this point where we're embarking on a journey of unbecoming. And in order for this process to happen, to have the effect that it has for my clients, it's a pause, it's a reflect, it's looking inwards, and it's like, is this what I want from life? Like, I lost my dad he was 52. I wasn't 52. I'd walked out of an exam at university. I was 23 at the time. He was 52. We spoke on the phone. He worked tirelessly on the dairy farm in mid Wales under the expectations which were set by his father and his father and his father, because I was the 6th generation on this farm. And under the burdens of other people's expectations, while speaking on the phone with the bank manager, smoking a cigarette, which was his coping mechanism, his heart failed. And then for me, it was like, there has to be more. This isn't life. We're not here to feed this corporate system. And so it's a plea to you. This is why I'm doing this, is to help you see the light inside of you, so that you can be the beacon of light to guide and inspire others to fulfill their potential and live life on purpose. So I want to just go here. I wasn't planning on going there, but we are there. So it's let's enjoy being here on this journey together. And for those of you who are putting comments in the chat, I will get to those and I will be sure to read them later. But I'm presenting this and putting this on with support from my wife and an assistant, and we're doing whatever we can to bring this message to you. So now we're moving into the steps. So far, I just want to summarize where we're at on our journey. So we're on our journey of unbecoming. We're stripping away these perceptions, these limitations, our masks, the things which have been choking us, these blankets over our lives. We've visited time and we've been like, okay, I don't have time to waste. I don't have time to just continue going through the motions of life. Then there's the Mexican fisherman story, which helps people to sort of say, it's like, what does success look like to me? How will I know that I've lived life to the fullest? Or am I just going through the motions because it's what society expects of me? And so what I want you to do at this point is I want you to make a note about, it's like, what does success look like to you? And this will unfold over the days ahead. We're going to be going into different layers of this. We're going through the journey over the 5 days. But I would like for you by the end of day 5 to have a clear clarity on what it is how you're going to measure success in your life. And so I feel that we're all at the same point. There's a path which we feel we should be on, which we probably are. There's the path that we are on, which we don't belong on. And then away from there is the path which we're called towards, our soul's path, why we're here on the world, the gift we're here to share. And so I want to walk through like the 10 steps of the journey of unbecoming, just to help you see how we can bridge the gap between where we are and where we belong. Okay, so this is the first step. We need to recognize that there's dissonance. There's a call to adventure. And so you don't need to write all of this down because it will be on my speaker page later today. So you can re-listen to this and revisit this and take some additional notes. But we have to recognize that there's disconnection. We have to recognize that there's something missing in our lives. And we have this desire for something more than what we're currently experiencing. And one of the most powerful ways of doing this is using journaling and consume self-development resources, understand, and there's going to be tons of those coming up over the next 5 days. You've just gifted to you. There's tools and resources and people wanting to help you on this journey. And then seek support. Have conversations with people, but make sure they're the right people, or they're not, at least not the wrong people. You want to be having these conversations with people who can help you to see the light in you. They're the ones who will hear what you're saying and draw out of it, and they'll uncover, so why is that going on, and how is this showing up, and help you to uncover you. So the next step is questioning and self-reflection. And on the hero's journey, this shows up as refusal of the call. So this is something where you want to allocate time to focus on your values, your desires, and your priorities. For me, nature is so important for this. This is where I go. I get time. I get out into nature. I ground. I connect with the trees. I spend time in nature. It's so powerful. And here you're looking to create a vision board. So this is something I have all of my clients do. It's like dream big dreams. And look beyond your working career, look beyond your job title, look beyond those things, and go into that phase beyond where you're beyond your retirement. You're in the time where you don't need to exchange your time for money. Like, how do you want to live? What is it you want life to look like? We went forward one. Then we get to step 3, and that's letting go and meeting your mentor. And so you'll recognize and consciously release habits, relationships, beliefs obstructing your growth and well-being. So here, this is where you know that you're going in the right direction. You have your vision board, which is pulling you forward, but you have to start making changes in your life. And so there's a book which I highly recommend in here called Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, please check that out. It's such a powerful book for understanding and forming new habits. But here again, it's seek mentors. Chances are, if you're trying to go this alone and you haven't got to where you want to be, it's because you've not got the right people around you. You want to have somebody who's living the life you want, guide you to where along that path. It may be me, it may be somebody else on this event. But please look for guidance from people who can pull you forward and draw the best out in you, because that mentorship and that support will accelerate you along that journey so much. And so then you want to have some form of mindfulness practice, some meditation. It could be a walking meditation. I love walking down. Like I have a driveway I walk down each morning. So I walk down and then I carry my two boys back up again. It's a couple of 100 feet in elevation change. And then on to our next step. So we're embracing our vulnerability. So we're openly sharing our thoughts and emotions with trusted individuals or your mentor. The key thing here is trusted individuals. You want to be careful who you're sharing this with, because the risk is, as you become vulnerable, if you allow the people who are smothering you with expectations, they will put them straight back on again. So you need to be in an environment which will nurture your journey. And so here, you want to challenge your comfort zone. And so undertaking activities that challenge and encourage vulnerability, like public speaking, that's me here right now. If you had asked me about doing this 2 years ago, I would be no way in hell am I doing this. But I know that I have to do it. It's part of my growth. It's part of who I need to be to shine a light, like a lighthouse for you guys. It's how do we now, I say guys because I'm looking at, there's two guys who are on my screen right now. It's shining a light for everybody here in the form of a lighthouse. And lighthouses have two roles. One is to illuminate the path ahead of safety, and it's also to warn you of imminent danger. And my job as a lighthouse is to shine my light brighter, not dim it, so that to prevent people, because it's hard for somebody to see. And here, embracing imperfections. I think imperfections has been a really interesting journey for me, where I think we waste too much time on our imperfections. And so we have to evaluate our mistakes and learning opportunities, embracing them as elements of growth rather than failures. We have to cultivate relationships with friends, mentors who appreciate and accept our imperfections, providing a supportive environment. Developing a self-dialogue of kindness and understanding during challenges, mirroring how you'd speak to a valued friend. So here for me, I think we lose a lot of our lives through imperfection. I feel that as we're growing up, as we're made to feel imperfect, which causes us to sort of shrink. And we hide under that sort of suffocation. And I think we have to be okay stepping into the unknown and being uncomfortably uncomfortable, being sort of stepping out of the comfort zone and being okay being uncomfortable. So we're halfway at this point. And so we're starting our return journey back again here. And so one of the things here it's like reconnect with passions and purpose. So reconnecting with and reflect upon activities and pursuits that previously brought you joy, exploring, incorporating into your current life. This is something I have all of my clients do. It's like, what are the things which make you feel alive? How can you find time in your day to do them every day, knowing that tomorrow isn't guaranteed? And then one of the things which is really important is reevaluate what genuinely excites you, motivates you. It can be things which excite you, motivate you now, but also things which you used to find joy from, but you've lost touch with. Sometimes people say to us that you're made to feel like you should grow up. Should feel like that's not a proper career, or that's not something. There's something inside of which is calling you. And it's getting around the right people who can see that value, because what you have is a gift, and it is a gift which the world needs. And so as we're on this journey, boundaries are so important. And so as you're becoming more clear who you are, then you're setting up these boundaries to protect yourself from other limitations and expectations, obligations being put back on top of you. So identify and communicate clearly where your boundaries have been crossed in various situations or relationships, ensuring your needs and well-being are prioritized. Cultivate the ability to say no when situations or requests conflict with your values or priorities. So where you're at, when you're at this point of the journey, you kind of have both feet in one. You're leaning towards the path where you belong on, but there's still some ties to the path where you've come from. And so then this is where it's really important, because there's things you're going to have to let go of. There's people you're going to have to let go from your life, because they weren't intended to be in your story for the entire journey. They were there as a stepping stone. They were there as a resource, but things come and go throughout life. And so this is part of you sort of being firm and stepping into your own power. And then as we cultivate compassion, so you're cultivating self-compassion, direct kindness, and understanding inwardly, treating oneself with the same compassion as one would a friend in a similar situation. Engage in acts of kindness and empathic actions towards others, recognizing and respecting their individual struggles and challenges. Learning and integrate mindfulness and meditation to deepen compassion, feelings, and actions towards oneself and others. At this point on the journey, the light inside of you is shining brighter and brighter. And the things which used to trigger you aren't having the same effect. They can still, just as a word of warning, but they're not affecting you in the same way as they have previously. And then this is where you're really, really stepping into your power. And embracing change. So you want to recognize and embrace change as an inherent, continual aspect of life, focusing on adaptation and growth over resistance, fostering and enduring transformation. Cultivate resilience through mindfulness, meditation, or yoga. Navigate life's fluctuations and learning to flourish amidst change. Pursue precise objectives for personal growth and transformation. Monitoring your advancements to ensure continual progress and development. On this journey, I was told when I did the Ripple Revolution last year by a gentleman called Sadarin Jacqueline, you're either in a problem, about to go into a problem, or just come out of a problem. And that is going to be throughout life. And so I want you just by when we're at this point of the journey and we realize that life is constantly changing and life is happening for us and not to us, then these problems are opportunities for us to grow. Like when I'm here in Costa Rica, it feels like I'm rafting down the river. It doesn't feel like I'm swimming against the current. And then when I'm rafting down the river, you build a little shack on the side to hold a life jacket for somebody who's coming down behind you. You do something, you create these opportunities for people. You stand into your power, you shine your light, you share your gift, because a rising tide rises all boats. And then we get to our final step of the journey. And here is the integration, the wholeness. So you're reflecting on the journey. And there's one thing I forgot to say on the last slide. I'm just going to come back to that before I go on to this. On this slide here, and it's the piece at the bottom. where it says transformational goals. And a really, for a lot of people, when they're going on a journey, they focus on the destination, they focus on the goal, they focus on whatever it is they're moving towards, but they never pause, turn around, and give themselves credit for how far they've come. I think that's a really underused tool to just to give yourself the nourishment and receive that progress that you've accomplished so much, and use that as the fuel to continue on your journey. So on the last step of the journey, oops, it's going down. So here we're reflecting on and rejoicing in your valued self, an incorporation of newfound insights, living in congruence with your true self and celebrating your growth and attainments. Continue to commute. Sorry about the light in the slides. Contribute to communal well-being by sharing your experiences and insights, inspiring and enlightening others on their journey in self-discovery. So what I want to, before I go into that one, I just want to, we're running a little over on my intended time, but I wanted to make sure that we have all the steps for you to navigate the journey. And so the way I see life, the way I so the way I like to look at life and the way I like to see it is there's a path which we are on. There's a path where we are called towards, or our soul's path, or the journey, something. And every day, every moment where we don't actively try and navigate from the path we're on to the path we belong is a missed opportunity. There's a cost of inaction in continuing down a path we don't belong on. And the journey of unbecoming is a series of steps which you can use to navigate closer to that aligned path. And I say it like the path is there. I say the path is there, but the path is hard to see. The path emerges as you go through the steps. When you do something on one day and you feel alive, then you're called, or you're invited to continue and take the next step. And so when you know you're on the right path because you feel alive, you know you're on the right path because things align. When you put a call out to the universe, something comes out from somewhere where it's unexpected. Money comes into your bank account, a connection comes from here, an invitation comes from there. These are signs that you're going in the right direction. And I refer to being on the right path as if it's like just a straight line path. And it absolutely isn't. It's a roller coaster. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but the feeling is still within you. And so I lost my thought for a moment. Oh, and it's like when people sailing a boat. I don't know if you're sailors, but when somebody is sailing and they're trying to go from one place to another, they don't go in a straight line. They'll sail one way and then they'll come back and they'll go back. And so there'll be times where you'll feel like you're like, oh, I'm great, everything's going great, I'm in the right direction. But then something will pull you to the side a little. And then you have to recognize that. And then you pull yourself back again. And so the journey of unbecoming isn't a one and done situation. It's a constant evolution of ourselves. So as we embark and we're at a point, at a challenge, at something in our lives, we just go through this circle. It's kind of, I like to see it like a spiral going upwards. And so we're embracing it's a connection to the seasons. It's a connection to, like in the fall in North America, the leaves are falling, the trees are shedding what no longer serves them. in preparation for winter, in preparation for that inward phase where they will emerge as if nothing's happened next year. Everything in nature happens in divine beauty. But if you go and you look in a forest, you can see broken trees and this, that, and the other. It doesn't mean it's broken. It's working perfectly. And so I just want to, I'm going to open up some questions at the end, but I just want to summarize where we've got to, and then I'll take some questions. Sorry about that. Oops. Keeps jumping ahead on me. Okay, so I just want to share concluding thoughts here. This journey serves as a transformative bridge, guiding us from our current path laden with societal expectations and perceived success to our soul's path, where our true selves reside, eager to live in alignment with our passions, values, and purpose. Embrace this journey, unbecome the untrue, and embark on the path of your fulfillment and joy. So, as a call to action, I want you to reflect on the essence of time, redefine your success, and utilize the steps of the journey to navigate towards your soul's authentic path. Embrace a life of purpose and just be happy. And so then, as I mentioned earlier, there are ways to connect with me. I would love to guide you on this journey. I'd love to hear about how, like, what's happened for you, where you're at, where you're stuck, how you would, like, how could I help you shine your light? How could I help you see your light if it's feeling dim? And so there's a couple of ways to connect with me here. I'm offering 7 free one-on-one 45-minute discovery calls to help you navigate a point in your life. Then I'm also offering a free masterclass on Tuesday, October the 17th. And then I have the recipe. the end of the slides, which you just ran on for some reason. So I am doing a live training on Wednesday. It's a super, super powerful tool. And it's something which is ridiculously simple, easy to implement. And it's going to be a live training, which I offer on Wednesday it's 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And so for those people who are on the call now, who I sent out an email with the wrong times on, I apologize. The recording of this will be up later today on my speaker page. And I would love to I'm just going to check in with the chat before we wrap here. So if people have any questions, please raise your hand or put it in the chat. Yes, Carrie.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'm from California here. Where are you guys?
I am in Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
I was going to set up my camera outside because I was like, I'll just pretend it's like a green screen. And then they can just watch the birds moving in the background.
Well, I apologize for getting on late. I was really confused time-wise, but the whole week it's at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, is it then?
There's four live segments each day. The best on the event schedule page, that's correct. I sent out an email with a mistake in it, which kind of messed things up a little bit. But there's going to be a live, like a live journey or meditation at 7 a.m. Pacific, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. Then there will be a live interview an hour later, so 8 a.m. Pacific, which is 11
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Each day is going to be the same. So there's going to be 4 segments each day. So we'll start. The best is to look on the event schedule because I'm having a brain freeze at the moment. But it's 7 a.m. Pacific is the meditation or journey. 8 a.m. is the live interview. 11 a.m. is the live training. And then 2 p.m. is a Q&A session with the speakers. So people can come on and just ask their questions. They can get a chance to watch the pre-recorded interviews. They can watch the live sessions. We've created it this way to have the maximum interaction for you. I did a summit last time, but I felt that it was devoid of connection. I felt that it missed this interaction where we can connect with one another. And so I wanted to infuse that into this event.
Well, I didn't really have any questions, but from what I was able to hear, it touched my soul totally because the words unbecoming the unbecome the untrue. I'm shedding 50 years of getting out of a religion that my mom and dad put me in and I tried to stay with that felt untrue. Literally, it's taken till now to get out of this cultish faith. And then a 29-year marriage that was also a narcissistic, abusive relationship. So this is like, talk about all the words you were using, authenticity, the leaves dropping like a tree. It's happening now. So I'm glad that I found you guys.
I'm grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful that you have the courage to embark on this journey because it's vulnerable and it's challenging. And sometimes it's easier to go back into the sort of the known uncomfort than stepping into the unknown. But having been on both sides, the journey is worth the effort. You'll embark on the journey and you will navigate to a different point and you'll be like, why didn't I do this 20 years ago? And I'm not saying that to be pointed. I'm just saying that to be this, like, it's to encourage you to just, it's like, when it gets sticky or challenging, keep going. Your soul needs this. You're in the right place.
Absolutely. I agree. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions? You're good. So if anybody does, you can contact me through my speaker page. Send me a message, reach out. There's ways of finding me. Just reply to one of the emails. I'm so grateful for all of you being here, staying till the end, and being on this journey of unbecoming. I'm excited for the next 5 days ahead. We have doing a live interview with James McNeil in an hour and a half. Sorry. I'm trying to think in all the different time zones, and I'm not in Pacific or in Eastern, so I try and navigate around those. But I want to say thank you so much. It means so much that you're here. It seems so much that you're receiving the gift that I'm sharing, and I'm excited for this journey together. So thank you.